No matter what you do, whether it's work, play, or living healthy, life requires fuel. At Health Empowers You, we focus on quality to help give you the most fuel for your life. So let us help you get empowered. Stop by healthempowersyou.net today.
Hi, everyone. Happy Halloween. Welcome to a special episode of Metaphysics and Spirituality with Reverend Dr. Tracy Cox. I'm Reverend Dr. Tracy Cox, your host, and my guest today is Rita Marie, a voice for spirit. So I'm going to let Rita Marie tell you what she is all about, what she does, and how you can contact her first. So welcome, Rita. Why don't you give us a
Welcome.
little description here?
All right. Thank you, Tracy. I'll start it off with I am a metaphysical minister and have been. I'm going to take a wild guess here at 16 or 17 years. As far as doing work with spirit, I've been working with spirit since a young child, I'm going to say, and really started to come into myself in my early 20s. And did a lot of energy healing work, worked with spirit, did home investigations, all kinds of different things. Um, the actual healing, I don't do as much of the energy healing anymore, but I do still work with spirit closely. And I also find sitting down with a client and sharing with them information from their loved ones is very much a healing aspect of it.
Absolutely. A lot of people are looking for closure because people pass suddenly.
Mhm.
They want to link up with that energy again and speak with their loved ones. So you do that. You would consider yourself a psychic medium, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay,
psychic
perfect.
medium, tarot coach.
Okay, great, great. Now, the reason that I chose this topic of spiritual and psychic protection during paranormal investigations is the fact that it's Halloween right now. And you'll notice that there's a lot of seances for the general public available to go to, haunted locations where they can go to. And what I find is that I mean, I'm a metaphysical minister as well as yourself. We're both members of the clergy. We work with spirit very intimately, and we understand how important it is to have respect for the spiritual world. So, the way I like to describe it to people is that basically what you are, what I am, what everyone is a ghost driving a car. Okay, so your body's the car, your spirit's the
Mhm.
driver. Once this material body or car falls away and we're just spirit, we'll see the spirit world. We will see the other energies very clearly. That definitely exists. And for people that are in the car, driving the car to work with the spiritual world, they need to have respect and a reverence for it too, because it's very special. It's a very sacred energy. And I find a lot of people that get involved in these events for the public with the paranormal can be very flippant about it, or they think it's a joke, or and that energy is a very dark energy to go into a spiritual investigation. So what do you think about that? Do you think that there's ways that everybody should know how to protect themselves first before they go into it? Because I sure do, and I've got examples. But what do you? What's your take on it, Rita?
Well, I really like the take that you had, Tracy. And when I'm going in to do any type of spirit work, okay, whether it is sending out healing to someone, whether it's connecting with spirit, whether it's being invited to go into doing home investigations. Um, and realistically, when I go in, regardless of what type of work I do, I always walk in with a bubble of white light. And it's not
Exactly.
a matter
That's a
of,
simple way to do it. So
yeah.
describe what you would do for the layman so that they're going into this paranormal experience just so that they feel good, and and trust us, it helps with picking up the energies too. They'll get it clear. They may get a visitation. They may see an orb. If they can get their energy so that it is protected and uplifted, these things open up to them.
Mhm. Exactly. So when I'm talking about going in with the white light, I always visualize myself walking into a balloon that's
Okay.
transparent. And I basically mentally and sometimes verbally will say all that is of love and light can stay, and all that is not cannot. So that I'm not really pointing fingers at what I don't want to see.
Exactly.
I also have a very good relationship with my guides, and I give boundaries just like you would with anything else. Um, I ask for the protection. Now, I've had people say, well, do you have to ask for protection or go in with protection because there's something evil there? No, not at all.
Exactly. Not at all. No,
Um,
that is a
it,
misunderstanding.
self, it's for self help. And
That's right.
when I'm just doing, if somebody's coming into my office or I'm doing readings on Zoom, I always ask my guides just before, that help me to become an open channel so that I may hear and receive the information as accurately as possible. I'm human. Some people think that, when you do spirit work, um, you live in a totally different world.
Yeah, and
When
that's
I
not true, and that's not true, and
exactly.
I like yeah, and I do readings too, and I say to people, "Only God is 100%." There's not gonna be
Mhm.
100% of what I say that's correct, because you may take a fork in the road that leads you in a completely different direction, and, I'm not in control. I'm just the conduit. So I'm telling you what I perceive, but only God is 100%, right?
And it's right. I mean, I'll joke around and say, I don't have a 1-800 number. I can't call ahead. So I
Yeah,
do believe that if I'm talking about just spirit messages, okay, um, I believe that whatever information spirit is giving me, whether it's through my guide or whether it's through their loved one, they're relaying it for a reason. It's not for me to understand. Okay, and they'll also give
that's
it
right.
to me in a way, hopefully they'll understand better. When I'm doing home investigation, because you don't really know what you're walking into, okay, that protective light does help. And I've had people say, you know what, I got spirit in the house and I'm really uncomfortable. Can you come in and get rid of everything? Well, I will say to them, you know what? I'll go in and try to communicate with who's there. But if you want me to get rid of all the spirit in your house, I may as well go to Toronto and ask everybody to leave.
That's
Like,
right, because
yeah,
as we're saying again, we are in the spirit world now. As
yeah.
soon as this
Mhm.
body falls away, we're gonna see the whole thing. Like, we are standing in heaven now. People don't understand. They think it's someplace in the sky. It's around us right now. And as you're
Yeah.
saying, a
Mhm.
lot of the investigations that we would do would be so that we could do a blessing and a clearing for people's, homes.
Yep.
And, I find that a lot of the time when I'm called in, it's something to do with someone's inherited a home,
Mhm.
in the will, they get their dad's place and, or their mom's place, and I'll go in and find they're like, I don't know, something's weird. There's something dark, or it's freaking them out, making them making sounds. And what it is their mom that the house has been uh, left to them, and I'll walk in and there'll be one room that is basically a shrine to their mom, like her bedroom that's never been touched. So, of
Mhm.
course, the spirit is hanging around. The energy is exactly the same. It's also very confusing to the spirit because they're, okay, well, where am I? Especially if they were in a bit of a delirium when they crossed over,
Mhm.
depending on how they are spiritually, too, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of it is just saying to this energy, you're free now. You can go be with the angels. You can come back and visit. It's all up to you now, and that's as simple as it is. It's like you're saying, it's not this evil entity where we're having to deal with horrible things. It's just that a lot of the time, if it's a spirit of somebody that we love, they have scary ways of making themselves known. Like if you're not prepared for it,
Yeah.
it's scary,
No,
right?
that's correct because I think people depending on their upbringing, their religious beliefs, that when a person passes over, that they're going to stay in the ground or they're going to be around the graveyard.
That's
And my belief system is that when the spirit is ready to leave the human body, um, some of them will go to the light right away. Does not mean that they're not gonna come back and visit you, and
that's
some
right.
of them who
Exactly.
has died traumatically, some of them don't know they've crossed over, and those are
Exactly.
the ones I find, can be the most disturbing to people, because it would be like you talking to a friend and saying, "Hey, this is what's going on," or asking a question and you don't pay attention. They may tap you on the shoulder to say, "Excuse
That's
me,
right.
I'm talking to you."
Yeah,
Spirit that doesn't really understand that they have passed on, those are the ones that I find I run into 90% of the time.
that's right.
Not
Me
to
too.
say
And
that I don't run into mom and dad, okay? Because mom and dad, um, they still have a soul connection to you. And I love the fact that my mother's around, especially when I need some advice.
exactly, exactly.
Okay, I talk to her I'm not a ritual person. So anyone that knows me knows that I don't wait for a full moon blessing. I don't wait for a lot of different things. I just go in with love and light.
That's right.
Um,
Yeah, you're
one of
just
the
like me.
things
Same
one
thing.
of the things that I think is really important is when you hear people going into a home, or they're just doing it in their own home with friends, they're going to sit in a circle, try to communicate with spirit. They'll either use an Ouija board or whatever the case may be. The worst thing they can do is say, "Whoever is here, we're willing to speak with you." Because my interpretation of spirit all along is that if they weren't that nice of a person here, their personality doesn't change that much
That's right. And if
until
you
they
throw the door open, anybody can
yeah,
come in. That's like leaving your front door open in the house and saying, "Just come on
exactly.
in."
Yeah, I
Exactly.
always
That's where
say
I find.
yeah, I always say invite, have a party, invite everyone from Toronto. You might end up with one person. Okay. Same thing with spirit. So when I'm going in,
Exactly.
I will specifically ask, who is there someone here connected to, Betty Lou, who owns the place. I will never go in and just say, "Okay, I'm here. Anyone who wants to talk, feel free."
Exactly. Exactly. It's
I
dangerous,
try
to
to
be
be
honest.
specific. Yeah, I try to
Yes.
be specific.
Yes.
Um,
And that's where all these stories with Ouija boards that have happened, where it's had a bad outcome, come from.
yeah,
They're just throwing the front door open and asking people to just come in. And you don't know what low level spirits and entities are around that
mhm,
location that you're just
yeah.
opening a portal for. And that's crazy.
Yeah, it's true, and it's,
Crazy.
some of the TV shows, I'll watch some of them, and some of them I just watch to laugh at.
Yeah.
Not that, I find it more entertaining, okay, but if somebody followed me with a camera and I'm doing a home investigation, it would not make for TV, because it would be the most boring thing that you
That's
ever
right.
saw.
That's
Because you
right.
can go through it. Nobody even knows what you're doing. Most of it's done internally and mentally. I'm just
Exactly.
a firm believer that um, don't put yourself in a position, um, to contact just anybody. I do believe that I believe in the white spirit and I believe in the gray spirit. So I believe that in this lifetime in body, as a metaphysical minister, you have to have a negative to have a positive. That's scientific. So in the spirit world, especially if they have not gone to the light and they have not been enlightened and be able to look at, their life and kind of go, well, could have handled that a little bit different.
Yeah.
If they do not know that they've crossed over, they could come back angry. They can come
Of
back
course.
because they're trying to communicate. They don't get it.
That's right.
Um,
So that example that I had of where a mother essentially passed in the home
mhm,
and was delirious at the end, had no idea what was going on, and then the room is still exactly as was left. That's how you trap somebody without knowing what's going on, because they didn't at the time. They still don't know that they've passed on. So that's where
mhm,
we come in. We can talk to them and get
yeah,
them so that they realize they can cross over. Like you said, they can go to heaven, they can come back and talk to the people anytime. It's just that they have to get their energy um clear, because like
mhm,
that demented, like the energy of dementia, or the energy even of passing away, is kind of like dementia. um because I've been at a lot of deathbeds and watched people cross over, and it's like they're not they're not connected to where we are anymore. So if they're
mhm,
confused, yes, they can get locked in there quite easy, and that's where we come in. We can release them, but
mhm,
it's not scary. It's just how the spirit world works.
mhm. And that's correct. I've sat with people in, hospice, and you can almost watch the spirit coming out of the body, going back
Yes.
in, coming out. And from my understanding with spirit, there's a 3-day transition where, you'll hear somebody say, I had a visit yesterday from my grandmother or from a loved one, and it was so real. And then I get a
Yeah,
phone call that they passed. How does that work? It's their spirit leaving the body,
that's
possibly
right.
knowing you won't be there with them, but they just want to come to you and say, hey, you know what? I get it. And I just needed you to know that I'm sending love, or sending
That's right.
some
They're
peace. So,
slowly divesting of the material
yeah,
body,
yeah.
slowly,
So,
and their bodies are usually starting to crash at that time too.
mhm.
Like,
Do you know what exactly? Because the only thing that stays behind is the vessel that we walk around in every day,
that's right.
and the spirit is energy, and energy does not die. Energy
That's
just
right.
continues. I've had people say, but why am I seeing spirit in body form? It takes a lot of energy for them to do that. And
That's
they're only
right.
doing it to show you validation. Hey, it's me. They don't have a body over there. They don't, I know
If
that my
they need
mother
it,
is,
if they don't, yeah, they just
yeah,
choose what they do, exactly.
exactly.
Yeah, so
I
we
do
did a
know when my mother's crossed over, she's probably opened up a Zeller's over there.
oh,
Okay, sorry, the first Zeller chain.
was she a
But
Zellers girl? She loved it?
yeah, we
I missed it too. I loved it too, as a Canadian girl, right?
yeah, we look at spirit. We want to have a face. We want to have a name. We want to see the full apparition.
Very
Because that's
difficult.
who we are. That's who we are as human. We associate a face, a body.
That's right.
Spirit doesn't. And I give great thanks to spirit who can walk in, show me what they looked like when they're here. Now, there are times I'll see it with what I call my outside eyes, and then
Yes,
sometimes I'll see it with my third eye. But I
that's
have to
right.
give them respect because I know it's not an easy feat.
No, not at
You
all, and
know?
I've seen full manifestations, and it's
Mhm.
amazingly intense, and
Yeah.
it just sparkles,
Mhm.
and then it can be just gone, because they just
Yeah.
can't do it anymore. They're
Yeah.
trying to get you to notice them, and then they just can't do it anymore, and sometimes it's a partial manifestation too. I've seen that many, many times.
Mhm.
Um, But sometimes it's just an orb, and people poo-poo the fact that, "Oh, orbs, they can't be spirits," and I
Mhm.
disagree, because, and you and I did a, investigation with a group of us years ago at Hillary House in Aurora, which is, it's an old, doctor's home, and it had
Yep.
the ballroom, they turned it into a field hospital during World War I, I think, and,
So,
I used to run meditation classes there, and the energy was so strong, and they would come like an orb, but it was almost like a laser, like somebody was taking a laser pen, but it was white. And as I'm doing this meditation, it's dancing all over the people that are with their eyes closed and meditating. and I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. This is really trying to get our attention. And it just kept happening. And then we did the investigation, and you could really connect. And you've done so many, you probably don't remember this one, but it was the people, the soldiers that had passed in the ballroom, and they were just the same thing we're talking about. There's a confusion. People die and they're not in their right minds quite a lot of the time because their body is disengaging from their spirit. And so, we helped them to know that that's what was going on and that they could go, because
Mhm.
people would have a lot of hauntings, reported hauntings in the Hillary House. And, that's sad that that energy is still there in this ballroom that's used for parties now, right?
It's true. There's so many different cases, of home investigation, and um, people will say, it's October 31st, and the veil is the thinnest. I find that between the 15th of October and the 15th of November, for whatever reason, um, it seems like spirit communication can be very, very strong.
I agree. The
Um,
dreams, some of the
but it
dreams
doesn't
we've been
mean
having here.
it doesn't mean that you can't have spirit communication any other time of the year.
That's right, of course. It's
Okay,
business
so
as usual. We can
yeah.
people that are sensitive to it, and I wanted to say that a lot of the people that are interested in it, one of the things that really expanded my ability to deal with that kind of paranormal investigation and a blessing and a clearing was learning Reiki, was getting my
Mhm,
Reiki attunements and being able to essentially turn the Reiki on and just send it into the room and see what I started to pick up. Because it's a really clean way of dealing with the spirit world. Now, people,
mhm,
it's the universal life force, and you don't have to believe in anything, but it does open up your psychic spiritual abilities. It definitely does. And I'm sure
mhm,
you feel that too because you're a Reiki master as well.
mhm. You're right. And to me, when I'm teaching mediumship or any type of spirit work, and I'm going to rephrase it because I can't really teach somebody how to do it. I can help them
Yes.
remember
Yes.
how to
That's
do
right.
it and how to open up that connection again. As in children, children haven't been told that they can't see spirit.
That's right. That's
So
why little children
imaginary,
will tell
yeah,
you, "This is my imaginary friend," or "I saw grandma." That's right.
yeah. So until they start to grow up and they start hearing, no, no, that's just your imagination. That's just this or the other. We close ourselves off.
That's right.
And then when spirit does come through, depending on the situation, we might think, oh my God, they're going to put me away for that because now I'm seeing things that aren't there. Um, I really respect the spirit world,
Yes.
as I respect this world.
That's
And
right.
I,
That's right.
I think the saddest home investigation that I did was quite a few years ago. And I was asked to come into a home that there seemed to be a lot of disturbances and they were frightened. So I
Of
went
course.
in and just kind of did a walk around, and I could sense that there was something there, didn't know what it was. And I came back the following night with a couple of friends that I know that do spirit work, and I kind of was able to connect with the spirit. And it was almost like the spirit was leading me to a certain area in the house, which was the basement. And when I got down there, um, I did not know at the time, but I kept getting physically pushed.
Right.
Now, I don't go in with fear. I don't go in with screaming and hollering and,
Yep.
ranting and
Yep.
raving. So I just finally said after the third time, you're going to have to stop that. You're going to talk to me. And it ended up being a 13-year-old boy that had actually hung himself in that same corner that I had pushed him into. He was frightened.
Sure. Yeah.
So I ended up being able to have a conversation with him. I called in his mother, who I knew was in spirit. He had been around this home for many, many years, to take him home. And
Yes.
that's why
Yes.
there was disturbance.
That's
He's
right. You don't want
13.
them trapped because that's
No.
what they do. They
Yeah.
rattle things to get your attention.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
some people said, "Wow, because he physically, pushed you, they must be, really difficult to work with." And I said, "No, because if I started getting angry, I would just elevate the anger and the
That's right.
how he was feeling. So
That's
you
right, and
have
that's
to go
talking about
in
that
calm."
respect going in
Yeah.
and doing a
Mhm.
paranormal investigation
Yeah.
is that you need to keep that respect, you need to send forth that love and light, like you're saying, that white light of spirit, and rise above it, like, get your energy, your vibe high,
Mhm.
essentially, so that you don't resonate on that level and make it snowball. Like you're saying, you want it just to calm down and, you know,
Mhm.
learn that it's time to
Exactly.
go.
To me, when anyone that wants to connect with spirit, I think it's wonderful. It's an experience that we have
It is.
had, from birth, but we've forgotten what it feels like.
That's right.
And to me,
Everyone.
it's a privilege to work with spirit and to have spirit come in to help those that are still living here. Sometimes their loved ones aren't ready to come over yet, but my guides will get information from them so that at least I can share they're okay, but they're really not willing or able to speak right now. But it does not mean tomorrow they will, or next
That's
month,
right.
or next year. So
Just
they
like
don't have a
when they were in
timeline.
the body, right? Just like
Yeah.
how we feel when we're in a body. We don't always wanna talk and share what our problems are, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so we have to
Yeah.
respect the spirit world. It's not, a circus act.
Mhm.
It's just not, even though it's marketed that way at Halloween. So, there'd be people that will do seances and things, and, for anyone that's watching and people that are thinking about doing those kind of things, even just surrounding yourself in a bubble of white light and sending
Mhm.
that white light forward into the venue that you're going into will make a massive, massive difference because you want to keep your spirit and your energy uplifted so that you can hear what's going on in spirit, but you're not letting it feed off of you having a bad day or you just had a fight with your husband, or there's a million things that aren't a good idea to walk into a paranormal investigation with a bad attitude because something has happened, in your
Mhm.
regular life, right?
Exactly.
Need
Like attracts like.
That's right.
So, go in with respect. I know when I go in and do a home investigation, even if I'm just sitting down with a client one on one, in my mind, I'm going to have a conversation with the spirits coming through. And the first thing I'm going to do is give respect to them. Hi, my name is,
That's right.
Rita Marie,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
I'm only here to hear what you have to say, and I respect you. Um, especially if you're sitting in a circle, um,
Yes.
a learning circle, or you're going in to do home investigation, please, please remember, go in with your own, and depending on your religion, you may have something else that feels good. I have a balloon that's white and it's transparent. There's no right or wrong way here,
That's
whatever
right.
makes you feel. Yeah.
Spirituality is individual as a fingerprint. So you
Yeah.
may do that. I teach practical prayer, and I'm automatically going to please God protect me, show me what I need to see, and protect and help the spirit. So
Yeah.
there's a million ways. Somebody else can just carry some crystals that they feel has
Mhm.
protective properties. As
Mhm.
long as you're keeping your vibe high and your spirit uplifted for something that works for you. That's the thing. Sometimes people are trying to adopt something that, their subconscious mind is going, what a joke. That doesn't work,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
And I mean, I'm a firm lover of clear quartz crystal.
Yes.
To me, it's like a one-stop shopping.
Yes, it
It'll take
is.
care of everything, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I will bring in quartz, a clear quartz with me. I usually always have one in my purse or in my pocket. And it's not that, oh, I've got to have all this stuff, to protect myself from, the evil entities that are out there.
Yeah, it's just
It's
it's
not that way
part
at
of
all.
the
it
package.
makes me feel comfortable.
That's right.
Okay, and
That's
that
right.
to me is important. So, with it being Halloween and you want to get involved in anything, just do it out of respect. Respect spirit as you want spirit to respect you.
That's right. So
Um,
people that will go into the graveyard, like tomorrow's Day of the Dead, you will find a lot of people trying to go into the graveyard. It's the same thing. You must have respect. I mean, there are stories about there's a graveyard. I won't name the graveyard, but people climbing on the gravestones, and eventually somebody got hurt, and they told them stop climbing on the gravestones. So how disrespectful is that? You don't think you're going to have maybe a spirit coming and giving you a hard time because you're acting like a chucklehead,
well, you
right?
know what? That's a good way to put it, Tracy, because I have done investigations in graveyards. And what I find
Yeah.
ironic is I find, and this is only for myself, I actually find it a little bit more difficult to contact with spirit in a graveyard because I already know they're not there.
That's right.
Do
I
you want
know.
to hang out in a
Yeah.
graveyard? It's a
Nope.
quiet place to be, but
Yeah.
they want to, venture out. They have,
That's right. There's not
I
much
know
there.
earlier you mentioned heaven. I always refer to heaven for myself as saying, I'm going home. And that's what
Exactly.
I hear when I'm talking to people that are getting ready to cross over. I'm so tired. I just want to go home.
That's
You're going
right.
back
Exactly.
where you came from. And there isn't, I don't believe in heaven or hell. If you want to call hell, we're living it every day. So to me,
Yes.
everybody is going home.
Absolutely, I agree with
Okay.
that
It's not like,
100%.
well, door number one, door number two, pick a
Yeah,
door.
yeah,
The white light will accept um, everybody. There's no
that's
judgment.
right.
There's
The
no,
spirit world is there. It's
yeah.
just yep, it
Mhm.
looking back when I had that experience when I was 18, I was very lucky because it just showed me plainly that this is the way we exist. This is what happens to us when we're out of our bodies. But that's a traumatic way and traumatic
Mhm.
way for people to learn. So it's like people like us, take it from us. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we're still here. We're still here.
Yeah.
You there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Okay, well,
here. Yeah.
maybe it's at 32 minutes. Maybe we should wrap this
Yeah.
sucker up. It's a sign our
Okay.
spirits are telling us to
Yeah.
wrap it up. So that was a great conversation. Spirituality is as individual as a fingerprint. Do something that makes you feel protected if you're going to take part in all this paranormal fun. And have a great Halloween, everyone. And I'll pass it over to Rita. You can tell us once again where they can find you and what you'd like to
All
say.
right. Well, thank you very much, Tracy, for inviting me in today. It's been a
Yeah,
joy.
it's fun.
If you want to get a hold of me, my website is Rita Marie, a voice from spirit.com. Email is just info at Rita Marie, a voice for spirit.com. That makes it easy. Check out the website. I do offer, spiritual reading, tarot, home investigation, classes, all kinds of different things that I really
Great.
thoroughly enjoy working
Great.
with. So,
Yep, and we've been
um,
running the addresses down at the bottom there with the ticker tape. So, thank you
awesome.
everyone for joining us. Have a fantastic Halloween, and we hope to see you soon. Thanks for joining
All
us.
right. Bye bye.
Bye.